Sony A7 Mark II. It's a full-frame camera. Amazingly small and light for being a full-frame camera, and can mount just about any lens ever made. So, it's awesome, right? Well, yeah. Smallness is a virtue, but it isn't always a virtue. Depending on the size of your hand, a small camera can work out okay, but it has something to do with the size of the lens you have mounted. A small lens like this, it's just fine. But as you start mounting larger lenses, the smallness of the camera body can sometimes be a little bit of a problem. So with my hand, my pinky tends to hang off the bottom of the camera body. And with a light lens, that's really not much of a problem. Can certainly deal with it, and the smallness of the body is a convenience. But once you start adapting lenses, especially solid brass lenses, and especially SLR lenses, you'll find that those lenses are fairly heavy, and the smallness or compactness of the body is no longer as much of a virtue because more weight is hanging off the front of the camera. And that's true even of this 50mm lens. It gets extended off the body quite a ways by the adapter. Let's take it a little bit further. This is an 85 1.4, and this almost looks like a clown camera. But it's not about looks, it's really about handling. This lens is big and heavy and gets extended away from the body. You end up sort of handling the camera by the lens, which may or may not be what you find convenient. So this is where the concept of a vertical grip comes in, sometimes called a battery grip. A vertical grip basically attaches to the bottom of the camera and gives you additional purchase on the camera body. You can get your pinky in there to help you support the camera. It also, really its major purpose and why it's called a vertical grip, is it repeats the main controls of the camera so that when you're holding the camera vertically, you have access to those features. An additional benefit of a vertical grip is it generally holds extra batteries, and we all know how important that is on the Sony A7 line of cameras. So let's get this guy attached. The first thing you have to do is remove the battery that's in the body because the grip is going to take up that space. The next thing you have to do is you have to remove the battery door, which to me is kind of a pain. I'm used to the A900's way of doing it, which is the door would kind of slide into the grip, into a slot. This you have to move it. At least the grip gives you a place to store the door, but it's still kind of fiddly, and I'm always afraid I'm going to break something. So now I'm going to take the battery that I took out of the camera, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in the grip. And the batteries have a little caddy, and the caddy has markings, which is nice for battery 1 and 2, so that when you see a battery is low, the camera will tell you which battery, and you can pull out that particular battery and get it charged. At this point, it's time to put the grip on, and that's a really easy operation. You just put the grip where the battery was, and then screw it into the tripod mount on the bottom of the camera body. It makes a good positive connection, no problem there, and I find that it really matches the rest of the camera body very well. I was very pleased with that. So with the grip mounted, it's obvious that the handling of the camera is basically transformed. There's now room for your entire hand, or at least mine with my pinky, and I feel confident in handling just about any lens with it. So with the grip mounted, it is a vertical grip, and one of the reasons you mount it is so you can easily shoot vertically. Replicated some buttons, and that makes it very convenient to shoot, but there is a gotcha. The gotcha is this shutter button, which is convenient for vertical shooting, but what I found out the hard way is it's pretty easy to trigger it with the palm of your hand or the meat of your hand. And if you have a menu up and you accidentally hit the shutter button with your hand, the menu will disappear, or whatever function you're trying to do will stop being done. So you've got to remember to turn the grip off if that happens to you, but then you got to remember to turn it back on if you want to shoot vertically again. So it's a bit of an inconvenience, but it's something I've gotten used to. There are some accessories that become more appealing when you have the vertical grip on. One is an L plate, and the other is a hand strap, and those kind of go hand in hand, and I'm going to do videos on those in the future. So with the vertical grip attached, I'm going to now put my big boy lens on and just demonstrate the difference in handling. I guess it's better to feel it than to see it, but you can just see, you can one-hand this thing pretty easily, and like I say, it really does transform the handling of the camera with a larger lens on it. But there's always a drawback, and one of the drawbacks here is the camera's taller, so it won't sit flat on a surface. So oftentimes you're going to have to lean it forward on the lens, or take a risk that it'll fall forward on the lens. So watch out for that. The handling benefits go just as well for SLR lenses like this, the manual focus Leica lens I have here, and I have a number of these as you've seen in my other videos. And for shooting those lenses, it's a lot more convenient with the grip on as well. So I'm thoroughly pleased with this grip, really. In terms of improving handling and allowing for convenient vertical shooting, there's just no way to beat it. And I've covered a couple of dislikes, the shutter button kind of fooling around with the menus and so forth, but let me cover a couple of other things. It makes the camera bigger, as if that's a surprise. You've heard me kind of talk about that before, but it's just something you have to keep in mind. A camera that started being really compact is now a much larger device, and unless you take the grip off, you're going to have to think about that when packing it. And the other thing that's really a bummer is you can't charge the batteries while they're in the grip. You have to take them out and use an external charger. And to me, these are really just realities and minor annoyances. Since I've been using my vertical grip, I've pretty much found it a must-have if you're going to shoot heavier lenses, and especially adapted ones. I hope you found this overview helpful, and as usual, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.